Hello and welcome to another Vermintide 2 build video, this time for the Waystalker class of Kerillian. Let's get started. Let's have a look at the talents first. First the passive ability, the career skill and the perks. The passive ability for her is Amarante. Kerillian regenerates 3 health every 10 seconds when below half health. And the career skill is two-shot volley. Kerillian shoots a volley of arrows that seek out enemies in her path. Her perks are Arrow Storm, increases the ammo capacity by 100%. Waywatcher's Bow, double effective range for ranged weapons. And Asrai Vigil, ranged weapon zoom, bound to weapon special by default. Level 5 talent row is, like you know, the self-healing talent row. First we've got Weavebound, melee crit strikes and headshots restore 2 temporary health, and critical headshots restore as twice as much. We've got Dryad's Thirst. Damaging multiple enemies in one swing with a melee weapon grants temporary health, and it stacks up to a maximum of 5 enemies. And the last one, Ariel's Boom, is the always the same talent. If you heal yourself, you heal your teammate as well. I chose Wavebound here because I have a good crit chance with my weapon and my equipment, so this one is easier to achieve for me than it is to hit multiple enemies in one swing of my weapons. But it depends on your equipment, what you have. I prefer the sword and the dagger, but if you go for a spear or the glaive, Dryad's Thirst might be the better option here. So for the level 10 talent row, first we've got Bloodshot. After killing an enemy with a melee attack, Kerillian fires an additional arrow with her next range attack within 10 seconds. We've got Serret Shots. Regular arrows cause enemies to bleed for extra damage. And we've got last Drakira's Alice Tree. I don't know how to pronounce it. Ranged headshots increases attack speed by 15% for 5 seconds. Let's have a look at this one here first. Serret Shots. I wouldn't recommend this one because the bleed damage is very low. It's the white number you can see, it's 4.75 bleed damage per shot twice. So it's 9.5 bleed damage overall that is given to the enemy. And as you can see, if you are capable to headshot an enemy, almost 10 enemies should be a one-shot. Maybe not Chaos Warriors or such hard to hit enemies, but the regular ones should die instantly. So this isn't really worth it in comparison, especially to the other talents here. This one here could be good if you want to switch out between melee and ranged more often. But I would recommend this one here. So ranged headshots increase my attack speed for 15% for 5 seconds, as you can see in the bottom left corner. It is activated and now I can attack much faster than I could before. So if you are in combat, you might want to switch to your bow, shoot an arrow to an enemy head and go back to melee if you are in a horde situation. That's what this talent is meant to be. Or otherwise, you can always go for the ranged headshot and shoot enemies on your enemies way faster to snipe them a little bit better from the distance. Level 15 is like almost the same for every class again. We've got Mainstay, we've got Assassin, and we've got Enhanced Power. And since Waystalker is meant to be a ranged class, I would recommend enhanced power here, so that you get more of your total level. It's better than the other options here. We are now in the level 20 talent row. First we've got Isha's Embrace. Increases Kerillian's health regenerated from Amarante by 50%, which means you, instead of 3 health, you get 4.5 health every 10 seconds. We've got Spirit Arrows. Amarante reduces the cooldown of 2 Flight Volley, your career skill, by 5% per tick, but it no longer restores health. And we've got the last talent. Amarante also infects the other members of your party. Let's talk about Isha's Embrace first. The health you regenerate isn't that much in the first place. The free health aren't barely helping anyway every 10 seconds. And yeah, even if you push it with this talent, which is 4.5 health every 10 seconds, if you look, you have 120 health in total if you choose the health option on your amulet. And the skill only activates if you are below 50%, which means at 60 health or below. So you would need like 20 ticks to heal full if you are at 1 HP. And 20 ticks mean 20 times your passive ability triggers every 10 seconds. Of course, with Isha's Embrace, this would be a bit faster, but still would take plenty of time to heal full if you only want to rely on your passive ability. So yeah, I think in comparison to the other options here, it isn't that worthy. Same goes for the last talent. It is a nice option for team play, of course, but I think your team will be better if you want to group healing, to go with a mercenary or with an Unchained Sienna, which can heal way more health in way shorter time. So yeah, if you really want to go support, maybe this talent is for you. But if you want to do damage with her, which is her role in my opinion, I would recommend Spirit Arrows. So you don't get the self heal, which, like I said, isn't that much in the first place, but you get a cooldown reduction of 5% for every 10 seconds, which isn't that much either. But you still get more out of it than you get from the little health hit that you get back. Only 2 talent rows to go. We start with Fervent Huntress. Killing a special or elite enemy increases your movement speed by 15% for 10 seconds. We've got Ricochet. Kerillian's arrows now ricochet, each bouncing up to 3 times or until it hits an enemy. And we've got Passvie Focus. It reduces the cooldown of True Shot Volley by 20%. I want to start with Ricochet in this time. I totally don't get this add-on, to be honest, or this talent. I've recorded gameplay for it, and yeah, I never was able to hit an enemy that was standing still. I just don't get it, why it's here. I don't know. Looks like a fun ability, but I don't see the point why anyone should use this talent, to be honest. So, this is the gameplay I want to show with you. The Ricochet ability, and as you can see, I'm trying to fire arrows to the walls, and they bounce in different directions in the air. So the talent does technically do what it says it does, but it didn't hit an enemy. So if it would bounce up from a wall and hit an enemy, it would be a nice ability. But otherwise, I don't see why I should give away my precise shots for it. So for the other two, Vermintide might be a good choice for higher playthroughs if you play on Legendary or Cataclysm, where you have a lot of elite or special enemies to kill to increase your movement speed, but I think in comparison, Passvie Focus, the reduced cooldown of your talent is way more worth it. As you can see, I've got now under a minute cooldown, and if I choose another talent, this cooldown would be up to a minute 20. Take this potion real quick. Yeah, it's almost a minute 20. Maybe I just wait till the potion runs out so you can see it better. Here we go. Yeah, a minute 12 instead of, I think it was 56 seconds. So it's like almost 20 seconds gone off your cooldown, which is a huge deal that you can fire it that often, in my opinion. So I would recommend Passvie Focus here. And we're down to the last three talents. First one is Piercing Shot. True Shot Volley fires one piercing shot, dealing heavy damage, and Headshot refunds 100% of the cooldown. We've got Loaded Blow. True Fight Volley fires an additional arrow. And we've got Konus Reward. Killing a special or elite enemy with True Fight Volley restores 30% ammunition. I've got a trait on my bow that restores ammunition with headshots anyway, so I don't run low on ammunition that often. So this talent here isn't that much for me. And it's more meant to be for the higher difficulties where you don't have that much ammo in the first place. So it could be an option if you want to play in higher difficulties and you have ammunition problems. This is a good talent for it. Yeah, Piercing Shot instead of the 3 arrows you would normally shoot, you just have one. And as it says, if you headshot, you get your cooldown back and you can fire it again and again and again. This might be a good talent for boss levels, where you have a boss in the end, which you can easily headshot and do it over and over again to deal a lot of damage to the boss and slay it very quickly. But I like to go for Loaded Blow, so I've got one extra arrow, which I like for hot situations to fire my True Flight Volley there. So yeah, this is more of an AoE option for hordes, and this one here is more of a single target boss option, I would say. And because I like the AoE option more, in my opinion, I have got more use out of it, and I don't have to be so precise to always hit ahead to get the most out of this talent here. I prefer Loaded Blow over Piercing Shot, but every talent here in this talent row has a good use if you use it right. So much for the talents. Let's have a look at the equipment. I like to play with the sword and the dagger for every Kerillian class, and I've got the same for everyone. It has 5% crit chance and plus 20% crit power. And the trait is Swift Slaying, so my critical hits increase my attack speed by 20% for 5 seconds. For the bow, I like to use the longbow. With Kerillian and her passive ability, it has 40 arrows instead of 20, which is shown here. And again, I'm going for crit chance and crit power. And as I said earlier, my trait is conservative shooter, which means I get 1 ammunition back for every headshot that I do. So I can restore my ammunition by just hitting headshots instead of taking ammunition from my team. And if you watched the other videos before, you know my necklace, charm and trinket. For the necklace I use plus 2.0 stamina and plus 20% health, and as an ability I use barkskin, sorry. It reduces my damage taken from subsequent sources by 40% for 2 seconds. My charm uses attack speed and power versus Skaven, and I use a decanter as a trait. It increases the duration of potions by 50%. And for the trinket, if you want to play on legendary or below, where you take grinds and tomes, I would recommend the properties of 10% cooldown reduction and 33% curse resistance. And skill, I like to use Grenadier, so I have a chance of 25% not to consume my grenade. If you want to go on Cataclysm, or you don't mind the curse from the Grimes, yeah, I would switch out the curse resistance for another 5% crit chance. So, yeah, this is basically it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.